Hi, this is Dr. Jennifer Martay again, and we've had a request to talk to you about how you can find the code for the Keyestudio solar tracker in particular, although these steps would work for other kits that they have as well. So I'm just sharing my screen so you can see what I'm looking at, but what I find useful is putting in something like this to Google, Keyestudio, whatever the kit is, and wiki, because they have their own little wiki page for every one of their kits. So if we were to search for that, the first thing that comes up is this Wikipedia site here, so I would click on that. And this page, at the beginning, it will tell you, what this kit does. And then towards the bottom, it's got the various bits of code, and in this case, also an assembly video and a demo video. So when I put this kit together, this was what was available. Now there's a new version, but this is what I've used. So I clicked that. And it goes into this page, which is Dropbox, and you can download the code from this particular Dropbox. I think it was in code, and there's also the information in this PDF as well. So I've downloaded that onto my computer. Now there's another one down here called Libraries that's useful for the Arduino. I think it used the LCD screen used this. So if you've used other Keyestudio kits, you might already have these downloaded into your Arduino IDE, but if this is your first one, you may need to install these extra libraries, and you may need to install different drivers. But in any case, in here, you have your choice of downloading everything at one time or each individually, and it was broken down into different lessons. I think I just downloaded the entire zip file and then opened them up. Right? So here's the code itself. Lesson 1.1 was about blink. So they've defined the LED as on pin 3, and that LED then comes on and goes off every second, 1,000 milliseconds. So there's that bit of the code. 1.2 is a variation of blink. Again, it defines the LED as on pin 3. And the light blinks on and off, but this time at 10 times the speed. So it's not every second, but every 0.1 seconds. Moving on to lesson 2.1. Again, it's using the LED. So we're defining the LED as on pin 3. And in this case, the LED is gradually getting brighter, and then it gradually gets dimmer. And it's got the information here about the delay and the values it's going to and from and how it's changing. Moving on to 2.2, again involving the LED and making the value go up and down a little bit slower now than it did in the previous version. 3.1, now we're learning about the buttons that are on the solar tracker. So they've defined the button, and that is going in port 2. That's the input. So they've set the rate that the data is being collected, set the pin that's an input. When you press it, this realizes that you've pressed the button, and it prints onto the screen the fact that it had been pressed. So I think it's a 0 and a 1, and it checks every 0.1 seconds. Moving on to 3.2, also involving the button, which was on pin 2, and now also the LED, again on pin 3. And we've got the button being our input and the LED being our output. So in this bit of the code, what happens is it checks to see if the button has been pressed or not. If the button has been pressed, then the LED comes on, and if the button is not being pressed, then the light goes off. And it checks every 0.1 seconds. Lesson 4.1, we're now learning about the buzzer, and that is in pin 6. And down here in this loop, what it's done is used a variety of different tones, and these are the frequencies of those tones in order to play us a song. And then it stops for a second and then repeats the song again. 4.2, again using the buzzer. And now we've got that being our output on pin 6, and it loops, which is its own definition here of a song. So again, we have the frequencies, and it will play you Happy Birthday. Then it waits for half a second and plays Happy Birthday again. Lesson 5.1, this is when we're first using the LCD, which is on the front of the solar tracker. Now here's one of the places where it's looking for a library. So if you haven't installed this library, in fact that library, then you will have issues because it will look to include those libraries, and if they're not there, you can't run the code. But once you have those installed, then here is the rest of the code. So in this first lesson, what we're doing is printing onto the LCD screen, hello world, which makes sense. And then that's on the top line, and on the bottom line, it says hello keys. So that would show up in the LCD screen. And that's the end of that bit of the code. Moving on then to 6.1. At this point, we're looking at the photoresistors. So there are 4 of those in the solar tracker, but we're focusing on one at the moment. And the one that we're focusing on is this A0. And we also are using in this code the LED at 3. So we've initialized the LED as being our output. And what we're doing is we're reading in the information at that photosensor that was A0 or A0. So we read in what the value is, and then if the value is less than 300, then the light comes on, the LED light comes on. And if the value is greater than 300, meaning if there is a bright light, then the LED goes off. So this is kind of like a night light. If it's dark in the room, then the LED comes on. If it's light in the room, then the LED goes off. And again, it checks for that every 0.1 seconds. Moving on to lesson 7.1. This is looking at the humidity and the temperature sensor. That's going into pin 7. And again, that has a library which you need to download and install into Arduino. But essentially with this one, it's setting up the data collection speed first, the standard value that it usually takes, and then it's reading in the pin for the sensor for the humidity and the temperature, and then displaying the data on the screen afterwards. So printing out the humidity and then giving you the value of the humidity, printing out the temperature and the value of the temperature, and it's doing that every 0.2 seconds. Lesson 8 is about the light reader. It also uses 2 different libraries, so you have to have had those installed. Here we're telling it the data collection speed. Again, that's the speed for all of them. There's nothing unusual there. And what happens with this one is it will print out that the test has begun, and then it will check once a second to see what the light reading value is, and then print it out onto the screen for you. Okay, moving on to lesson 9.1. This one is about using the servo. The servo is on pin 13, and it is our output. So in this case, we're moving the servo to 0 degrees, then waiting for a second, then moving to 90 degrees, waiting for a second, moving to 180 degrees, waiting for a second, and then looping back to again go to 0. So for this particular code, there are 3 locations the servo will go to and then stop for a second at 0, 90, and 180. 9.2, again using the servo, but in this case, we're not going to just 3 locations. We have a variety of locations. We're going from 0 to 180 degrees in an increment of 1. So it's going to slowly pan from 0 to 180. And then if we keep going down on this code, we then go from 180 slowly back to 0. Then after we do that, we wait for a second and we repeat. The servo here on pin 9. So there are 2 servos in the solar tracker, one that controls the side to side and one that controls the up and down. So I suppose one is in pin 13, one is in pin 9. Finally, we have lesson 11. This is when we put everything together. We've got all the different libraries that we used before, because if we didn't include them up front, then they wouldn't be working. So this essentially is putting everything we did previously all into the same file. So at the beginning, we're declaring our different states. So these are the photosensors. The left one is A0, the right one A1, the one that controls up, down, goes in the up direction A2, and the down direction A3. Okay, and I'll just scroll through this so you can see it. Here we're initializing everything, saying what our 4 inputs will be of the photosensors, writing those different angles. I think I might have added these in myself, so they may not have been in the code originally. And then in the loop, we're performing our servo, reading in the light, reading in the humidity and the temperature, and showing values onto the LCD screen. Now, this is the kind of the heart of the solar tracker at this point. I've read in the data here, they each get named as their different variable, and in fact, I've printed them out to the screen because I was checking the way that the solar panel worked. But this is the heart of the solar tracker. So what it does is it takes the pairs of the photosensors. So for example, we said one of them had left and right. So it's looking to see if there's a very big difference between the left and right, the amount of light that each of those is seeing. And if there is a big difference between them, what will happen is the solar tracker moves in the direction of the sensor that had more light. So that's what this one is saying. So for example, if there was a brighter light on the left side, then the solar tracker would pan to the left side. If there was a bigger light or a stronger light, brighter light on the right side, then it would pan to the right side. And it does the same idea with the up and down. So if there's a big difference in the brightness of the sensor that sees the up side of the solar tracker as opposed to the down side, then it will rotate up. And similarly, if it's brighter on the down, then it will rotate down. And we've also got information that's being printed out onto the LCD screen here, like the amount of light on that light sensor, which is different than the 4 photosensors. A bunch of code at the bottom that's been commented out. There's that function for reading the light, the function for using the humidity and temperature check, talking about adjusting the resolution. So those are all the bits of code, kind of talking you through them, but as you can tell, it's really lesson 11, which is bringing everything together. So hopefully you found that useful. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you for listening.